Good morning, everyone. Do you like my yellow jumper? Yellow is my favourite colour, although you won't see a lot of it around because finding this particular shade of yellow is really difficult. This was one of 2 lockdown purchases I made back in 2020. For some reason, yellow was the in colour, and I never see yellow stuff, so I bought this. It's a bit of an impulse buy. I didn't need another jumper, but it's a yellow jumper, and look how chunky it is. I've got another jumper on underneath this, and it's lovely. So that was one of my treats in lockdown, or probably one of my only treats actually in lockdown, because life didn't change much for me back then. Right, so today I want to talk about Christmas shopping. And I know that for some of you this is a fun thing. Christmas is a great time, can be a great time. And for others, probably more of us this year than before, the thought of Christmas shopping, having to buy presents, keep up with demands is one of absolute dread. And I just wanted, this is not a boast, this is not me showing, look at all this stuff that I bought. I want to talk about how I make a budget and how I stick to it, and how I find ways to cut the costs on things that I'm already buying within that budget. So I need to Christmas shop present wise. I'm lucky because in some ways, because I always go away for Christmas, because all my family live way down south. I don't really know anybody up here, and that means that I don't have to do things like decorate my home. I don't host Christmas, so all those costs are right out the window. All I have to do is put the petrol in my car and get there. So the only other thing I then need to focus on is presents. Now, I am very much a minimalist when it comes to unnecessary spending. I think just buying stuff for people because you feel you should is wrong. I think that buying for people and putting that pressure on them if you know they can't afford to reciprocate, or would feel obliged to reciprocate when they couldn't, is also wrong. Martin Lewis does a message about how if you give somebody, say, a £10 gift, and it may or may not be someone that you usually gift to, they will feel obliged to buy you a £10 gift back. So nobody's gained anything. You've just exchanged gifts that you probably didn't need. Rarely are they things that people really want. So I make a really conscious effort when I am Christmas shopping. I only buy things that I know people will use, that I know they will like, that I know they will find useful. Maybe it solves a problem in their life. And some people are easier to buy in that respect than others. I've mentioned 1 or 2 things here already. And even generic things, if you know that they are generic things that people will use, then it's been used up. So it's not like you buy something, it ends up in the back of a cupboard and whatever. I have, this last month or so, been having a massive clear out, or last couple of months having a massive clear out and selling a lot of stuff on Vinted. And a lot of the stuff that I've pulled out is gifts that I've been given over the years that I've never used, never worn, and some of it's been sitting there for years, like jewellery or bathroom products that I've never opened. And I've sold loads of stuff on Vinted because people are now gifting those on to other people and getting stuff at a fraction of the price in the shops. So I've made a bit of money back there, and I will talk about that when I do my end of year financial audit, because I think, again, now that this channel is starting to pick up, more people are finding the videos useful because it's getting to a better audience. So this Christmas entry is so that you can understand how you can keep your budget down. Okay, so first off, set your budget and do not deviate from your budget. In previous years, my budget my budget used to be about £250. Then it went down to 200 probably 3 or 4 years ago, and this year I set a budget of £150. Now don't forget, I am buying for people who pretty much want for nothing. If they want something, they go out and buy it. So anything I buy is an excess in their life. So I need to be really careful about what I buy, because they can also buy better versions of things than I can afford. So I have to take all of that into consideration. Now my budget incorporates 7 people, 3 of whom are children under 8, and my best friend's birthday is also just before Christmas, so I put her birthday budget in on that. I don't buy Christmas for her, I don't buy Christmas for her family or her 2 sons that are my godsons, because they get literally everything that they want, and there is nothing I could buy them that they would basically give a toss about. There's no point. So I get them a card for Christmas, and I buy for her birthday, because I always remember her saying that when she was a kid growing up, people would buy her one present as a combined birthday and Christmas. And as a child, she hated that, because it was like people were just shoving it together because it was a quick save. So I always acknowledge the birthday and leave out the Christmas, because they're doing Christmas together anyway. They have their own family to do Christmas with. Christmas is not as important as birthdays. So I always do her birthday, but she is within my budget. So my budget this year was £150, and I've come in under that. I have come in at £105 and 5 pence. Which is pretty good. I think that's really good. £105 for 7 people. I try not to, I don't buy bulk items. I'm not like a quantity shopper over a quality shopper. So, but that £150 budget has been reduced to 105 thanks to a few things that I've used to help me out this year. So I will shop around. So I will look at what's in the shop and then see if I can get it cheaper online. I'm not adverse to that. I have bought a few things on eBay. I have very much utilised loyalty apps this year. They've been fighting hard for your custom. And I would say that Sainsbury's has probably been the best for that because of the Nectar points. They've been offering extra points bonuses if you shop up to certain levels in certain weeks, and I wouldn't do that just to play the system. I'm doing that because I can get the things I want in that shop within my list of things that I wanted. So the most expensive thing I bought this year was the heated vest with the power pack that I got for my dad. The vest was £17.09. I bought that on eBay, and the battery was £23.99. Also bought that on eBay, and if you go back through my videos, you will see the trials and tribulations of trying to get that to work, because I had problems with what I thought was the vest, but it actually turned out to be the power pack that I bought. But that's all been resolved, that's all fine. I've bought that because my dad has a lot of trouble regulating his temperature. He gets very, very cold, even though they've got the heating on. My dad is 78. He had minor cancer treatment more than 10 years ago now, but since then it's done funny things to his metabolism, and he gets very cold. He'll be like cold in summer, freezing cold in winter, and he walks around the house with a gilet on over the top of his button-up shirt and his jumper. So I've bought him this heated vest, hoping that it will just help take the edge off it in the worst of the weather. You can wear it out under a coat as well, so we'll see how that goes. My dad's not very keen on technology type stuff like that, but I ran it past my mum and she was really enthusiastic, so we'll see what happens. That's what my dad's getting, because that's been the most expensive thing. He's not getting anything else, because that has cost more money than I would normally spend on one person, but there are some joint things that I've bought between him and my mum. So joint things, my parents are big fans of Hotel Chocolat. But the recent news announcement that's just been sold to Mars has really annoyed them, because they're saying, oh, it's all going to be trashy chocolate now. So I decided to take this as an opportunity to see if I could find an alternative chocolate supplier that they might want to start shopping with. And I was recently watching another channel that I follow called Holly the Cafe Boat, and it's a couple with their young son, and they've been living on 2 canal boats. I don't know for how long, because I've only recently been following them. One of them is the one they live in, the other one is their floating cafe, and at the moment they are based within the region of where I live. And they recently went to a chocolate shop where they make their own chocolate from scratch. So they buy the cocoa beans and they grind it themselves, and it was highly recommended as being a really good chocolate. So I've bought them a gift pack of those chocolates. They're not cheap, but to be fair, if you've seen the prices of Hotel Chocolat, you probably fall over. So I've bought them that as a joint present for them to try, the beginning of the quest for the new chocolate company. And alongside that, I've bought them a bottle of Muscat, which is a sweet dessert wine. And it was a conversation we had back in the summer about trying to find nice dessert wines. So I found this particular one that I was after. It took me ages to find. It was originally £8.50. And I bought it in Tesco because on the club card I could get £1 off. The other reason that I've bought a lot of things in Sainsbury's and I've shopped in Tesco as well is because of the surveys that I take for income. And a lot of the surveys pay you in gift cards. I don't tend to get that many Sainsbury's gift cards, although I have recently had some. I do get a lot of Tesco gift cards, and I'll tend to bank them up and then shop with them when I need to buy things. Tesco isn't a store that's on my doorstep, but I do have the opportunity to go once a week, but I only buy things that I need. So I've been using that to also buy presents. So that bottle of Muscat, which was £8.50 reduced to £7.50 on the club card, actually ended up only costing me £3.80 because I used the remains of a gift card towards it. So that's another way that I cut the cost back, is by using the gift cards that I've already acquired through surveys. And I did the same thing with other alcohol that I wanted to buy for my brother and my sister-in-law. They were doing offers in Sainsbury's. The beer was, there were certain types of beers you could buy 3 for £6, and there was a nice rosé prosecco because my sister-in-law loves a prosecco, and that was also reduced. And so I bought the prosecco and 3 bottles of beer for £14.50, but I bought them on the remains of a Sainsbury's gift card, so that didn't cost me anything at all. So all that alcohol, which was two whole presents, was free. So there's that. My mum's really into things like loves scented candles. So I've bought her a scented candle. It cost me £3 in Asda. My mum loves sticky memos. You know, stationery is a real thing, and massive cat fans. So let me see if I can find what I bought. Here we go. I bought these on eBay. I was going to get this last year and I never did, because most of them come from China, and I won't buy anything that's not sourced from here in the UK because I can't be bothered with all that. Cat memos. So you get the big cat memos at the top, and then little sticky page markers, which are the cat's paws at the bottom. She's going to love that. My mum's never had anything like this. It's just a little fun thing. And I love the translation at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. It says, composure creates time to the full. I love these Chinese language conversions. They're just hilariously bad. But, you know, they're just fun. It's just a fun little thing. With my mum was adopted, so I have a lot of fun doing the family trees, and I was doing some research on her adopted mother's side and came across some interesting information about some of her relatives. And I was typing their names into Google because you'd be surprised what would turn up. And 2 newspaper articles turned up on eBay. There's there's always people who cut out clippings and then sell them. And it was 2 articles, I think, from the 1950s, and mentioned her ancestor. Not really an ancestor, we're talking 1950s. So I've bought those to add to her family scrapbook. We have the adoptive family side, which is really interesting, and then her birth family side, which took a long time to track down and has also been very interesting. So Mum has 2 whole families to research, so I have great fun doing that, and it gives me all sorts of opportunities to find things. So there's that. The kids, my brother's kids, they're 3. There's 3 of them, they're under 8, and the eldest is starting to look like she might be a bit crafty like me. She's seems to be getting into sewing and things, and we did some sewing stuff last year, and I bought her an embroidery kit for her birthday a few months ago, and we're going to sit and do that over Christmas. This time I have bought her some these weren't that cheap, but you got more for your money than in the shops. And again, this was another eBay buy, and they are jewellery making kit. They've got the wire inside, and you can make bracelets and necklaces and all sorts of things. So we're going to have some fun with that and see. I'm buying her cheap, accessible, easy stuff to do at the moment because I'm testing to see what it is that she particularly likes. She seems to do a little bit of everything at the moment, and they don't have much staying power. My brother's really into getting them out doing lots of stuff, but they're never really allowed to spend a lot of time doing something. So she'll come around to do arts when I'm down, and then 2 hours later he's there whisking her away. So they never get a chance to learn any staying power. So I'm struggling to work out what it is that she really likes to do. But she's definitely more arty. She was diagnosed with dyslexia earlier this year, so the reading and the writing type stuff is a challenge. She's getting extra help with that now, so we'll see how we get on with that. So at the moment I'm sticking to the things that I know are more accessible to her and help her to be creative and do what she wants to do. Other stuff for the little one, I've bought chalks and black card because she loves just drawing and scribbling on stuff. And they've all got a pack of this air dry clay. They're really into Play-Doh and making models and things. So I've got them one of these each, and it's just the air dry stuff. And inside here there are 6 separate pouches full of different colours, so they can make stuff that they can keep. They love things like magnetic sand and plasticine, all that kind of stuff. So they go through tons of this stuff. So one of these each, they don't fight over it. Right, so that pretty much covers that. And stuff like that I got in Poundland for £1. It doesn't need to be any more than that. It's just fun stuff. What else have we got that's... oh yeah, topped up my brother with bathroom stuff. He's quite hard to buy for, like my dad. Like my dad, just tends to go, oh, just buy me whatever. So I've got him a couple of these. They're really hard to find now. I used to get these all the time, but these original source things he really likes, and they're really hard to find. My mum can't get them anymore, so I found these. So I've bought him these because this is useful stuff. You know, they're on a reasonably tight budget. Getting stuff like bathroom products, things that are actually usable, are good. What else? And that actually is pretty much it. Everyone has got like 3 or 4 things. And it's not extravagant. It doesn't need to be extravagant. My parents are in their late 70s. They've seen enough Christmases and birthdays to last a lifetime. I will put down something on my Christmas list when they ask that I wouldn't normally buy myself. So I'm a bit partial to a drop of gin. So they would normally buy me, say, a bottle of Bombay Sapphire. And I can really make that last the year. I think the bottle I've just finished I was given 2 Christmases ago. We also have a problem with we have quite a few birthdays very close to Christmas, so there are 2 birthdays in February, 2 birthdays in March. So you need to bank up your ideas, because when you're struggling to buy for people and then 2 months later you've got to think of even more ideas, it can be a bit tricky. I also bought all the cards from Sainsbury's. Sainsbury's do a really good card range, and their budget card range is nice quality. You can get nice cards for £1. So I bought those on combination of Nectar points and the remains of gift cards. So I bought all the Christmas cards and my best friend's birthday card. They were free. So that pretty much covers Christmas. So I had a £150 budget. I've got it down to £105 because some things were part free, some things were free, and that's because of the gift cards that I earned through surveys. Have a look at some of my other financial audits where I detail where I do my surveys. I will do another one of these because, again, there's been a lot of new subscribers and new followers since I've done a lot of these posts, and I will try and link to a few of these at the ends of this. But if you're specifically looking for information, do add a comment here, and I will try and send you back some links where you can find specific information, particularly if you're looking to do surveys. Taking surveys for money is great because it's really accessible. You can just, if you've got a smartphone, sometimes there are computer-based ones as well, but if you've got a smartphone, you can download the apps for the various survey companies, and you can just sit there doing surveys. So if you just want top-up income, and I make about £200 a month earned in money and in gift cards, so I get paid in gift cards. Money depends on how the setup of the company is. Very often it'll be paid through PayPal. Sometimes they'll drop direct into your bank account. Depends on the company. And if you have mobility issues, accessibility issues, or you just don't have the time because you're caring for children, so you might not have the time to go out and do other work, you need to be in the home, this is a great way to just, if you've got 5 minutes, just sit there and do a couple of surveys. And if you just keep doing the surveys, it's funny how quickly you can build up an amount of money. Some cash out really, really quickly with just £1. Some it's £4. A lot of them are £4 and £5. Some it's a bit of a long slog, and you have to get up to, say, £50. But it might be that you can get to that 3 or 4 times a year. 50 quid's 50 quid. Doesn't matter how it comes in. So bear that in mind. The other thing I want to talk about is the massive waste of money that is Christmas wrap. Every year, my parents, and we've opened all the presents, and it's just a mound of paper and bows and things at the end, which gets picked up, shoved in black sacks, and my dad throws it out, and it absolutely horrifies me. So every year I try to rescue as much wrap as possible. So any wrap that's survived being ripped open by the children, a lot of the presents that my mum does in particular is wrapped in tissue paper now. So you can unwrap it, iron it out, and you've got lovely new tissue paper. And of course all the bows and the little foil ribbons and things like that you can reuse. I haven't bought wrapping paper in years. And a couple of years ago I started to look at how I can effectively upcycle and recycle. So one of the things I started to do was turning old Christmas cards and birthday cards into gift tags. And I bought some embroidery thread, and I basically started making my own gift tags out of chopped up cards. I could make selections of like sets, matching sets. There are one-offs, and I have a whopping great box here, so I'm not short of gift tags anymore. And they're all from cards that I've cut up. Now I think it was 2 years ago, I thought I'd try and sell them as handmade items on Etsy. It's really difficult to sell because everyone's doing it. So I made a lot of these with the intention of selling them as packs of gift tags, and they haven't sold at all. Absolutely dreadful, because everybody is doing it. And it's really hard to sell stuff like this because the cost of postage now is ridiculously high, and if you're paying £2 for a pack of gift cards and then it costs another £2 on top for the postage, people will just go to Poundland and buy a cheap pack. So that didn't work so well. If you are looking to buy upcycle, recycle, gift wrap, gift bows, gift tags, you're welcome to buy some from me. Let me know in the comments if you want to buy. It's not just Christmas, there's birthday stuff here as well. You could just buy all year and stack them up. If you're interested, let me know. And what I would probably do is list them on Etsy and then send you the link and you can buy through there. Or we'll see if we can find a way of doing it direct so you can pay me through PayPal or something and then I can send direct, because I know that some people really like to do that. So yeah, I hand make all my gift tags now. And the other thing that I started doing, because I found a tutorial on Pinterest, or multiple tutorials on Pinterest, was making my own gift bows. So, these are made from old wrapping paper that I've rescued. You can make the little rosettes. These are really easy to make. You make them out of strips and then I've stitched the bottoms together. You can do it with glue and stuff, but I wanted to be as economical as possible. I have a lot of thread and needles in my studio, so I have like just so many of these. So lots of Christmas themed ones made out of Christmas wrap, different sizes. I love these pearlized ones. Look at these are big. And again, I made these with the idea of selling them. Even harder to sell because you can't flat pack them, they get crushed, so you need to put them in a box. Sending a box, even a light box, through the post is incredibly expensive. But I'm now using, I'm not using the post office anymore, they're too expensive. I'm using a company called Parcel to Go, and you put in what it is that you're selling, like the size of the parcel, the weight of the parcel, and it gives you a list of all the options. And I use things like InPost now because we have lots of InPost lockers locally, and you just go and stick it in a locker, and that's how Vinted does it. And you can also send stuff using Every and Yodel and all the other, and it's just so much cheaper. Sorry, post office, but you're so badly priced now that it's impossible. So yeah, so a huge range of, they're all handmade, look. And I stitch them together, and then all you need to do is put a little loop of sellotape at the bottom and stick it to your parcel. So I have tons of these. I have birthday ones as well, made in various, so you've got little birthday ones there, pink with cats on, red with cats on, they could be birthday or Christmas. And you know, plainer ones as well. So this became a little factory for a while, but again, impossible to sell. If you're interested, let me know. I have lots and lots of lightweight upcycled cardboard boxes from when my parents buy online. They keep all their boxes and all the wrap that comes in, and then when I come down every 3 months or so, I go through it and I pick out the bits that I want and I throw away the rest. So I end up with loads of free packaging. So I don't charge for packaging in any way. So yeah, if you're interested in any of this stuff, let me know. Drop me a line in the comments and we can have a chat, because this might be something that you really want. And I know that there are lots of people out there not finding the things that they really want. I'm going to try and get this post out quite soon because we're getting so close to Christmas, and so many of you will be in the midst of your Christmas shopping still and not knowing just how to deal with it. This thermos mug has been an absolute blooming lifesaver. Anyway, so yeah, make your list, think carefully about what you want to buy. Don't make any impulse purchases. Make your list of things. Think carefully about people, the people you are buying for. Is it something they are going to use, or they're going to shove it to the back of a cupboard and regift it next year? Think about what they need. A lot of people now are cutting back on non-essentials. So it may be that it's opened up a wider possibility for you to gift things that are treats. Maybe somebody has stopped going to the pub on a Friday night like they used to, and maybe a bottle of wine would be nice. They can have a night in. Maybe they have cut right down on snacks and treats, so a box of Quality Street or something like that is the ultimate treat because they've stopped buying all this stuff. For kids it's easier. You can get lots of cheap it's difficult with children because we don't teach finances properly in this country, or indeed anywhere from what I can tell. We don't teach it at a school level. We don't teach children how to budget, how to understand money, how to understand how to buy things, how not to fall for money traps like impulse buying, when brands advertise and con you into buying stuff you didn't really need. And whilst I don't think we should be scaring children with financial horror stories right now, I do think it's really important that children understand they can't just have everything they want. My godsons get everything they want, and it really worries me because they're now like 16-ish, and they're going to go out into the world thinking that they can just buy whatever they like, and they're going to end up in debt. They're going to end up with serious financial problems because my best friend came from quite a frugal background, and by frugal I mean poor. They didn't have a lot of stuff, so when she first went out to work and started having her own money, she just blows everything. She'll buy anything and everything, and it's an addiction she's never stopped, and now she does it for her kids, and she's passed on that bad money mindset to her children, which really, really worries me. They don't seem to understand how money works. They've always said, if they want something, well, Dad earns loads of money. He doesn't. Compared to them, it seems like a lot of money. They don't earn a lot of money. It's significantly more than I will ever earn, but it's not a huge amount of money considering how much money they spend, how much money goes out the house. So that worries me. So when we were kids growing up, we weren't, I would say we were comfortable. I'm not going to deny it. We were comfortable. We didn't want for anything, but we weren't spoilt. So at Christmas, we were allowed to choose one main present. And depending what it is, my brother might one year might get a BMX, which, yes, sounds like a lot, but he wasn't getting a BMX every year. I used to, when I was a kid, I was really into, it started out with the Muppets. I was massively into the Muppets, so I would get one of the Muppet toys. And you've got to remember, we're talking back in the 70s and 80s when you didn't shop online. If your child requested a present, you had to traipse around the shops until you found it. And very often things were trending, so you would very often find that you couldn't get the thing you wanted. And then you just have to choose something else. Or maybe the shop would be able to order it for you, and then you'd have to go back and get it. Shopping was very much a slower, a low-level thing. So we were allowed to request one main present. So for a few years it was the Muppet toys. I ended up with a few of them. I didn't end up with all of them. I ended up with Kermit, Scooter, and Miss Piggy. I think that's the only ones I had, and some of them are still in the loft at home. I saw them recently. It's just quite weird. Then I really got into My Little Pony. So one year I requested the My Little Pony parlour, which came in like a little horse box that opened up with all brushes and things, and I get a new My Little Pony every year. I was also really into Cindy, but I was really into Cindy because I love the horses, so I used to get new horses, and I used to make stables in the garden and all sorts of things. One year I got 2 budgerigars. Birds are my thing, and But we're also a very animal-friendly house, so two budgies in a cage seemed a bit sad. So two budgies in a cage became two budgies in an aviary in the garden, which my granddad built. And then two budgies in an aviary looks really sad, so two budgies became a few more budgies, and a few more budgies started to breed. And I ended up with about 40 budgies in an aviary. The aviary got an extension as well, and it was quite a menagerie in the end, and that's how things used to rock and roll in our house. Oh my God, the price of bird food. I don't even want to think. I mean, I was still at school then, so I wasn't paying for any of this stuff. But my parents have always liked to indulge us in the things we were interested in, because you don't know where it's going to lead. I mean, I started doing costume design, self-taught from home, when I was about 12, and I would get books bought for me, and I just learned how to do things my own way. So very young, I was really into very specific things. I like to write stories. I was really arty, really into nature, really into bird watching, things like that. So a lot of bird books rolled through the house, that sort of thing. A lot of bird watching days out, going to reserves, on holiday. We'd always holiday in the UK, like Lake District, Cornwall, and I'd be there with the binoculars, holding up the hikes that the family were on, because I'd spotted a dot in the distance on the lake or something, and I was trying to work out what bird it was. Fond memories. But yeah, so we were allowed one main present, and then my parents would buy the other bits and pieces. So yeah, by no means were we, I think for the time, we certainly weren't a frugal household. I don't think we've ever been a frugal household. But my parents were both just post-war babies. So they spent the first years of their lives still under rationing, because rationing didn't end until 1953. Houses that had no central heating, I think they did have electricity, but there was no central heating, so in the winter you'd wake up in the morning with ice on the inside of your window, and you put all your clothes in the bed with you the night before so that you could get dressed in the warm, because it was cold. And my parents well remember growing up with the basics. Nobody starved to death. They were working class families with good upper working class jobs, and they were very lucky compared to many people. But they do remember living like that, and not by choice. So as their lives improved, they got married, my dad had a really good job, they improved their lives, and they enjoyed that, because they didn't want to go back to living frugally. They didn't want to live like I live now, and why should they? They're nearly 80. They have earned their money. They've worked hard. You know, they've worked hard to. They've been in the same house for like 47 years now. They were never going to move. You know, there was no reason for them to move. They never wanted to upgrade. They're happy with what they have, and their lives are quite comfortable now. Thank God for that, because it means I don't have to worry in those terms. You know, I will never have to fund my parents' retirement. They may end up funding mine at this rate, because they've been really careful. My dad is very money-minded. Like me, he sits there for ages, poring over spreadsheets, working out budgets, putting in every single receipt into a spreadsheet, so he knows exactly what money is going in and going out. Getting slightly off topic here. So Christmas, I've done my Christmas. Not buying any more. That's it. We are well and truly done in many respects. But everything that's been bought is stuff that will be used. It is stuff that people can't get themselves, or wouldn't know where to find it, or it's useful. And I've handmade. I've bought one present for my best friend for her birthday. Only a cheap thing, £3.50. I bought her a mug, which I saw, which was just so her, and I'm going to hand make her some jewellery to go with that. And she's a crafter as well, so I think most of the things she's making for me and for my family, as she does every year, will be handmade as well. But she has a much wider craft range than me. She does a lot of things with resin. She makes all her decorations. She does wood burning. She does so many different things. It's just crazy. And she tries a little bit of absolutely everything. She crochets. She does knitting. She does all sorts of different art things. So I can't keep up with her. Her range of craft is much bigger than mine. So every year it's handmade things, and that's great. Although she probably spends more money on the materials than she would if she bought the thing in the shop. But she is a crafter. It's what she does. It's her escapism. It's how she fills her time. So yes, digressing again. So I had a £150 budget. I've come in at 105. I'm not going to force myself to go up into that budget. I'm just going to be thankful that I've saved a bit of extra money this year and done well because of the money that I have saved on using the loyalty apps strategically. So I've saved, what have I saved? About £25 of my budget just on using gift cards and loyalty points. So that's why I've come in under my £150 budget. So think carefully when, you've probably almost done your Christmas shopping now. But really think carefully about what do people actually need. Don't buy in quantity. And I know this is a problem. You look at what you've bought and you think, it doesn't look like it's enough. I'll buy a couple of extra things just to pad it out a bit. And before you know it, you spent another tenner, another 15, another 20 quid. And then your budget's blown. You need to be really careful. And people need to understand that if you can't afford stuff, you can't buy stuff. And there's nothing wrong with teaching children that. There's nothing wrong in saying to them, we can't afford everything you want this year. Pick your main present and don't let them pick a new iPhone. Those things cost hundreds and hundreds of pounds. They're just going to have to wait. They don't need it. Teach them that they don't need the latest of everything. Yes, I know they're under pressure at school, but you're teaching bad habits that are going to set them up for a life of debt. And it's, I don't remember being taught how to be very frugal with money, but we must have been because me and my brother are the same. We're both very conscious of spending and being careful and prioritising the things that have to be spent rather than the stuff that you just throw money away on. So I think we must have been taught how to be more careful with the money that we did have. So explain to your children if they're demanding, the latest perfume that costs 50 quid a bottle. I don't even know what perfume costs these days. I don't buy it. I do get it gifted, but only from the people I know that want to buy it. Not the latest iPhone, not the latest gaming gear. If you can't afford it, say you cannot afford it. It's as simple as that. And it maybe they have to work to earn it. Maybe they can do chores. Teach them the value of an income. Even at a young age, they can get them to do the hoovering if they're old enough, the washing up, wash the car. All the things that we used to do as kids to earn like our pocket money. We didn't just get pocket money when we were kids. We had to earn the value of that pocket money. So I used to wash the car. It may be that your kids like the garden and they can do the gardening. All that sort of thing. Teach the value of money and then you won't find yourself in these kinds of positions. Christmas should not be about how much money you're spending on people. It should not be how much did you get, how big were the hauls, what brands did you get. It's supposed to be about people coming together. The thing that I love about Christmas is I get to spend time with family. I get to see friends who live down there. I would be quite happy if there were no presents exchanged at all and we're just gathering around the table for Christmas lunch and, taking a walk and looking at the Christmas lights. That's what I value about Christmas. So think carefully about what it is you actually want from Christmas. It's not a big shopping haul, and forget what the retailers are telling you. Stop watching the adverts. Stop falling for the gimmicks. They're just hitting profit margins. All they care about is their end of quarter numbers and reporting back to CEOs and stakeholders. They don't care whether you're in debt or not. They have no interest in your financial situation at all. They just want your money, and they don't care if that is getting you into financial stress. So just stop giving them your money. Just stop. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. That's the end of my discussion about Christmas shopping, and I think that's quite enough. Have a good day.